Hello, folks. Sean Mize here for our traffic training in the Look Over My Shoulder program. So, before we get started on the traffic, I want to talk a little bit about traffic. What is traffic? How does it really work? And how does it fit in with our business and making money and that kind of thing? And here's the reason why I want to have this discussion. And that is that we so often, and I do the same thing, and I see it with my clients, I see it with a lot of people, that we tend to get to feeling like traffic is just something we can go out there and get, and if we bring it to our website, that, well, it'll just convert and we'll make money. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, and that's why when most people try to drive more traffic, they don't make more money. The reason for that is if the traffic is not matched to your offer, to your email campaign, to your products, to your entire funnel, you don't make any money. And unfortunately, that's what happens with most people. They build out an email campaign or a sales funnel, and they try to drive traffic to it, and it doesn't convert. Is it the traffic's fault? Is it the conversion process fault? And it's usually neither and both. You can have the best traffic in the world, but if what you have on your website doesn't match what the traffic wants, nobody's ever going to buy anything. If, on the other hand, you have the worst traffic in the world, well, if you have the best conversion process in the world with the right thing that people want, but you're getting bad traffic from the perspective of the people might want what you have, but they aren't ready for it now. Okay, they're not targeted. For you, once again, you're not going to do any business. And so what happens is people fall into this trap. I've done it before. I fall into it a lot. I've probably wasted more money on buying traffic than anything else out there. I'd be a richer person today if I'd never bought any traffic at all. Nothing against buying traffic. I mean, there's a place for buying a lot of traffic when you have when that traffic is adequately matched to your back end system, your back end delivery. There's a place for that. And I've made a lot of money on some of the bought traffic. Okay? What happens is people try to go out and say, okay, I'm just going to generate more traffic. And if you're going to generate traffic fast, usually you have to pay for it. I mean, if you're willing to get it slow, then you can build it through the search engines. You can build it through finding people that really want it, through lots of different methods, through content, okay? And there are lots of different ways to do that. I mean, with articles and blog posts and forums and videos and all kinds of things that are content and search engine oriented. But if you want traffic fast, you usually have to go out and buy it. And the thing is, when you go out and buy traffic, if you invest $1,000 today in some traffic source, well, until the traffic comes in and it sits in your campaign for 90 days, you have absolutely no idea whether it's going to convert or not. Okay, now obviously some percentage of it might convert the first day and the second day, but you don't know what the long-term number is going to be. Okay, now the question is, if it doesn't perform, what do? Do you go get a different sort of traffic and run it to your back-end conversion process, or do you change your conversion process? Which is it? You have to make that decision. And here's the thing. I mean, in my case, I build my back ends to work based on relationships, and relationships are started with content marketing, things like articles and blogs and things like that. So paid traffic doesn't convert as well into my back end, but content-oriented traffic really converts very well. So if I have a traffic source that doesn't convert well, what do? You know, there's two things that I can do. One of those things is to take that traffic source and begin to feed it into a content network. Okay? It's going to decrease initial conversion rates, okay, but allow me to build up some relationship and trust. The second thing would be to go in there and fix the back end. Okay? In my case, I have such a strong content network out there that, in my opinion, I'd just rather build on that content network. Okay, now, having said all of this, if you've bought traffic before, you know that it's really easy to buy a bunch of traffic and find that it doesn't convert. Okay, now my opinion is that if you're generating less than $250,000 a year, you really should be focusing on generating content and then take a small percentage of your total revenue and maybe put it into paid traffic. Okay, so I've been transparent in this course. I've shown you how I do everything I do in terms of building out a campaign, in terms of putting the articles on eZine articles. I've shown you inside my account. I've let you watch me write the emails and put them in the campaign and put them in eZine articles. Okay? Now, that's what I do. That's how I generate my traffic, is through content marketing. And so, here's what I'm going to do. In this video, I'm going to dig into article marketing, and we're going to look at how and why it works so well. Now, before we do this, I want to say something, and that is that most people think article marketing is really hard. The reason for that is the very first day that you try to write articles, it is hard. It might take you all day to write one article. Okay, and then you come over here to my expert author page and you see where it says 24,621 articles, and you say, I can't do that. Well, two things. Number one, you're right, you can't do that if your writing takes you all day to write one article. The second day, you write two all day. The third day, you write three. The fourth, it just keeps getting faster and faster. And when I quit writing articles personally, okay, and actually I still write a lot of articles personally, but for the bulk of this account, I hired people to write those articles. I'll explain the numbers to you in just a moment. Okay, because I didn't take that money out of my pocket. I took it out of earnings, and I'm going to share those numbers with you in just a moment. Okay, but I got to where I was writing 7 articles an hour. 7 articles an hour. Now, my average article makes me somewhere between $50 and $100. So if we look at that times 7, that's $350 to $500 an hour. $350 to $500 an hour for writing articles. It was always worth it to me to sit down and write for 2 or 3 hours a day. So what happens is a lot of times people say, okay, I've got 3 hours a day to work on my business. That means I only have 20 minutes to spend on traffic. Wrong. If you only have 3 hours to work on your business, you probably should be working on traffic for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Seriously. When you're building your business, there's only 3 things that you should be working on. 3 things, folks. Only 3. One is traffic generation. The other is building a relationship with your subscribers. That's writing 1 email a day. Okay? And creating products. If you're doing anything other than those 3 things, you're wasting your time. Now, I know, I can hear you right now. You say, well, I have to spend an hour a day surfing the internet to find new ways to do things. It's not working for you. I've never done it. I hope I never do. I haven't needed to. Because everything that you do that makes you money is going to either drive traffic, build a relationship, or create a product to sell people. Okay, or in the case of affiliate products, you go out there and you find products to sell people, and that's even easier. Okay, I've done it the hard way. I mean, almost all of my revenue has come from my own products. I recommend that you do the same thing. I mean, I've kind of made it so easy for you in this video series, showing you how you can just sell with affiliate products. And I did that. My first 2 months online, I sold affiliate products only. And then I wrote my first ebook. And I've been hooked ever since. And for the next 13 months, I wrote an ebook every month. And then for the next 13 months, I don't remember the exact numbers on this. I know the first 13 months I did an ebook every single month on average. After that, the next year, I created like a couple coaching programs. I created 3 or 4, maybe 5 home study courses, 10, 15 hours worth of content in each one. And the way I did those, folks, I just sat down at the computer for 2 hours and recorded for 2 hours. That gave me 2 hours of content. Do that for 5 days, you get a 10-hour home study course. If you've got 3 hours to work, what do you do with it? If you're creating a product, then you record for that period of time. Okay, so, let's say you get 3 hours, then if you're creating a product You're not going to create a product every day. So 1 week, you're creating a product. And so for 5 days, you record for 2 hours, and at the end of the week, you have a 10-hour home study course. That's it. You're probably not going to create another product for a month because you're burnt out on creating a product. So next week, what do? Well, one day you write a 5-email campaign that sells your product. It still gives you 4 days of 3 hours. What do you do with those 3 hours? You write articles, or generate content, or do forum marketing, or do blog marketing, or build relationships online, which you can easily do with article marketing, blog marketing, and forum marketing, and content marketing. You can create videos and put them online. I haven't had a whole lot of success with that. Okay, I've done it some. The thing is about traffic, I'm an expert at driving traffic to article marketing. I'm not good at 5 different things. I'm hugely, supremely good at one thing. But I'm really lousy at all other forms of traffic generation. Now, you don't have to become good at article marketing, but whatever traffic you're going to do, get really good at it. If you're going to do blog marketing, just be really, really good. If you're going to advertise on Facebook, then you need to get really good at it. If you're going to advertise on Google, you've got to get really good at it. If you're going to buy referral traffic, you've got to get really good at it. Because if you're just okay at buying referral traffic, and okay doing email marketing, and okay doing Facebook ads, and okay doing article marketing, none of those sources are ever going to make any money. Why? Because all your competition is okay as well. You have to be the best at what you do. And there's only one way to become the best. That's to do it, evaluate your results, tweak it, and do it again. That's what I did with article marketing. Now, you don't have to do it with article marketing. You can do it with blog marketing. You can do it with forum marketing. You can do it with Facebook ads. You can do it with Facebook marketing. You can do it with Twitter. You can do it with LinkedIn. You got to become an expert. You can't spend 5 minutes on LinkedIn, 5 minutes on Twitter, 5 minutes on Facebook, 5 minutes on Google+, 5 minutes to write an article, 5 minutes to be a guest blogger, 5 minutes to do a forum, 5 minutes to do something else, because you'll never be any good at it. If you're never any good at it, you won't get any decent traffic. Okay, I think I've hammered that one home. I hope I'm not being too harsh here, but the single biggest problem that people have when they're online, once they have like a business, they have something there, is just driving the right traffic. The problem is everybody and their uncle out there is saying, just buy my program and I'll teach you how to drive 1 million visitors next month. Okay, or some variation on that. Okay? That's not the answer. The answer is not to drive 1 million visitors. Look, I can drive 1 million visitors, but they're not going to buy. You're not building relationships. It's about relationships. Let's dig into article marketing, and then in the future videos, we're going to dig into some more content. We're going to dig into blog marketing. We're going to dig into forum marketing, and we're going to talk a little bit about advertising. And we're just going to spread this out over like the next 3 or 4 days, because I really want you to be thinking about traffic, and I want you to be thinking about driving high quality traffic that converts to big dollars. Okay, now you may be thinking, well, I know that there's people out there that are doing $30 million and they drive a lot of traffic. Well, you're right. If you look at their budget, you probably see that 15 million of the 30 million that comes in goes back into traffic. That's a perfectly fine model. But I don't personally care to put 50% of all my revenue back into traffic. I just don't care to do it at any scale. Hey, what I do now with my content marketing runs me somewhere between 10 and 20% of total revenue. It means if I make 10 grand, I've invested between $1,000 to $2,000 on the traffic. When I first started, I did it from scratch. I did it, just put the time in. I didn't pay anybody to do it. So let's look at these numbers. I want to show you inside my Easing Articles account. I want to show you inside. First of all, I'm going to show you the expert authors page. Okay, so here I am. I'm number 1. Here's Lance. Okay. When I first started article marketing 5 years ago, Lance was number 1 with like 7,000 articles. And for 2 years, I don't remember the exact, I don't remember if it was 2 years or 2 years and a month or a month shy of that. I fought tooth and nail to get ahead. And at one point, I think I was about 2,500 articles ahead. And my game was just stay ahead of Lance. Okay, and then at some point, I said, you know what, I'm going to take some time off, and I don't care if I become number 2. It's the money that counts, not the ranking. Okay, so anyhow, long story short, this is where we sit. I currently write articles, and Lance currently writes articles, and we have some fun with this. Okay. Approximately my first 1,500 articles I wrote personally by hand, about 150 a month for 10 months. Now, 20 days of the month, 150, that's only 7.5 a day. Okay, so I averaged about an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half every day writing articles. Okay, now, usually that was more like 2 or 3 days a week. I mean, when I write, I just write in spurts. Okay, in fact, today I took about 2 hours and wrote 35 emails in one sitting for a new campaign. Now, keep in mind, I didn't put them in the campaign. I didn't put links in them. I'm building out, there's all kinds of things that are going to get built out behind the scenes. Okay, but I'm hard charging when I work. Okay, and my guess is that most people that make it online big are hard charging. Okay, you just can't just sit back and do a little here and a little there and hope it all comes together. You have to make it happen. That's the way it is with most things in life. But online, you kind of got to make it happen. Everybody talks about easy the internet is. Well, yeah, it's easy, but 87 million other people are trying to do the same thing you're doing. You got to be the best. And you can be the best. You can be the best in your niche. You can be the best at whatever traffic you choose. Okay, so then what I did was, by then, I think after that 10th month, I had maybe 10 grand a month coming in, something like that. And so then I said, actually, I started it even earlier. It was maybe 6 months in. And at that point, it was only at 7 grand maybe. And I just said, I'm going to put a percentage back in. So at the time, it was maybe $1,400 a month. I just said, I'm just going to take that off the top. Okay? So I just took that off the top and I said, okay, I can hire people to write $1,400 worth of articles. So I hired a bunch of article writers. I fired most of them in a couple of weeks because they wrote such trashy articles. And I ended up with about 5 writers. I was paying them $5-6 an article. I think I had one guy working for $3 an article. I kind of felt bad. He ended up writing a lot of trash too, so I got rid of him. Ended up keeping one really good article writer, and she was doing maybe 100 a week for a long time. Now she doesn't write as many, and I write more, and so it all works out. But all I did was reinvested a portion of the money that was coming in. So my first 6-7 months, I just put in time. I worked 40 hours a week. And by the way, I realized that you may be working a full-time job, so you only have 3 hours. Just scale the whole thing down. Don't expect that you're going to get to $15,000 a month in 3 hours a day in 8 months. It's probably not going to happen, okay? If you can, maybe it takes you 2 years. You get to that point, maybe then you quit your job, you go full-time with it. You take 20% of all the money that's coming in, you put it back into traffic. If you took 20%, let's say you're making 10 grand a month, take 20% of that, that's 2 grand. At $5 an article, you could have 400 articles a month written. You put them in your account, and that's basically what I've done over time. And, if you go back through, you can see the dates on the articles, and you can see how many we did. I think the top month was around 2,000 articles. We found that our marginal results were going down, so we went back to 1,000 articles, and we went back to, I think the happy place was about 400 or 500 a month. Okay, let's look inside my account. I think I have it open over here. Let's look inside my account. 5 years. 2.8 million views. Do you see this? 2.8 million views. Okay, now these URL clicks are a little skewed. That should be about double. Why are they skewed? There's a few different reasons why they're skewed. Number one, Easing Articles didn't institute URL click tracking. If I remember, it was about 2.5 years into my work, and so those numbers are skewed there as well. Okay, so somewhere between 150,000 and 300,000 clicks. Okay. And if we look at how many views per article, 24,700 articles into 2.8 million, you're only looking at 100 views an article. And right now I average, let me just show you. Okay. So, some of my older articles just don't convert as well. They get lousy resource boxes. over time I've learned how to make resource boxes happen. Some of my articles are skewed because I've had some pretty incredible articles that are almost out of my topic. My writer wrote them and they were cool. They get me a lot of traffic, but they're not really targeted for my niche, so it doesn't really convert into sales. Okay, that's kind of a different ball game. Okay, so here's my account. I'm going to sort these by publication date. Okay, because that's really what's important here. We want to look at the last articles that I've submitted. Okay, so in this program, if I remember correctly, I've submitted these last 4 articles. Okay, and so just these last 4 articles have generated 20, 41, 52 clicks. Okay, generated 52 clicks. And let's take a look at the number of subscribers that have been created. So we'll go into Aweber, we'll see how many subscribers have been created. Okay. So that campaign this is the campaign. And if we go to web forms, it should tell us a conversion rate. So I'm running 17% conversion. That's really low, and part of the reason for that is that's a horrible, horrible squeeze page. I did it to show you how you could create one fast. I did it fast. I haven't gone back and optimized it. So we have 9 submissions. So, and a subscriber is worth to me about $30 in the long run. Okay, obviously a week is not the long run, but I run about $30 a subscriber. So in the long run, that's $270 in income. Okay, over 4 articles. So 4 articles in a 270 is what? About $6,250, $6,750 an article. That's what the revenue's worth. Okay, now if we look at the last 100 articles in my account, we see that they've generated 2,000 clicks, 8,000 views and 2,000 clicks and a 20% click-through rate. So 2,000 times, and most of the time I convert at about, I'll even show you a different account. Let's come in here. Okay, so let's find a web form. My standard web form is my EZ4 web form. Let's find it. Okay, so my standard web form. Well, these are my Easing Articles web forms, and they run between 27 and 30%. Okay, so we look at this, 30% on average means these last 100 articles have generated on average about 600 subscribers. Times $30 a subscriber is $18,000 divided by 100 articles. So on average, these articles so far have been worth $180 to me. Okay, now, you know, there's some skewedness here because some of these articles have been sitting here a long time because I took a few months off over the summer from writing articles. So these are skewed. Okay, so normally you wouldn't have as many kind of sitting here. So if we went back another page, you're going to see something else. I mean, remember, we can skew these numbers any way we want to. We could look at a really bad month. We could look at a really good month. It's the average that matters. It's this 150,000 clicks over time. So if we look at the next page back, there's 526 clicks times 30% would be 150 subscribers times $30 would be $4,500 in revenue. Divided by 100 articles is about 45 an article. Okay? And that's more realistic. That's more like what I normally would convert at. Okay? So how do I do it? Well, I've already shown you. I've shown you 3 videos where I showed you how I write an article, I put it in my email campaign, and then I submit it over here. What would happen if you did the same thing I did my first year and wrote 7.5 articles a day for a year, and you had 1,800 articles that were making you $45 a piece? And then you reinvested 20% of that, just like I did, into having other people write your articles for you. Folks, that's article marketing in a nutshell. I can't make it any more clear. Article marketing is not rocket science. All you got to do is write 400-word articles, use the resource box I've taught you, which is basically, by the way, do you want to learn more about the topic of your article? If so, download my brand new free guide, topic, the 7 steps to the title, the topic of your article. Click here. I mean, that's it. That's your resource box. There's no rocket science to it. As long as eZine Articles is going strong, you just submit them to eZine Articles and let them drive the traffic. Okay? It works. It's worked for me. It still works for me. It continues to work for me. Article marketing has, for the last 5 years, and still is, my number one source of traffic, my number one source of revenue. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Okay, now, obviously, over time, as I add additional content sources coming in, continue to outsource more and more, we may see it goes down as a total percentage. Instead of being 90 or 95%, it might be 80%. It hasn't changed for me in over 5 years, and my guess is it won't change for me from content generation for a long period of time. I don't see that. And one of the things that's really cool about article marketing traffic is it converts so well. It converts really well because of the relationship building that happens. As somebody reads an article, they already like you by the time they get on the list. One of the things you'll probably notice in my email campaigns is I answer my emails. So people get in, they send me an email, they say, hey, got a question for you, I want to see if you're a robot or not, and I write back and I say, hey, I'm the robot responding to you, what do you need? And they write back and they go, wow, you really wrote back. And then they ask me a question, I answer the question. What do they do the next day? They buy something from me. Why? Because I'm the only person that wrote them back out of 25 people. Sometimes I've taken on clients and I've subscribed to their email campaign just to see what's going on. And I hit reply to the first email that they send me, and they never get my email because they have the return email address on their email campaign to be some email they never ever check. How do you build relationships like that? You don't. That's one of the reasons so many people fail online. They have one weak link and they have no idea what it is. No idea. They don't get any emails from their subscribers. They think it's just because nobody cares. It's not. Your subscribers are hitting reply and it's not coming through. Here's the thing. If you're working 3 hours a day, your time should be either spent writing emails for your campaign, with the exception of one day where you write 35 emails like I did today. Most days you should spend no more than 20 minutes writing emails. That leaves you 2 hours and 40 minutes. And you can do one of two things in those 2 hours and 40 minutes. Create product or drive traffic. And just once a month of 5 days at 2 hours, and you've created all the product you need to for 1 month. One product a month for the next 5 years is 60 products. It's 12 in a year. How many of your competitors have 12 products? It's 1 week a month. The rest of the time, folks, need to be spent on traffic. It needs to be spent on traffic. Okay, I'm gonna close this video out now. I was tempted to use audio for this video, but I wanted to show you that eZine Articles account. I wanted to show it to you. Because I'm not bragging, okay? And by the way, I don't have any intense interest in staying number one. I don't know that it really affects my business that much. It's always cool to be able to put number one eZine Articles author, but I don't intend to make it a huge fight to stay that way. My guess is that over time I'll stay there. The articles that we're committed to, I got like 300 or 400 articles in queue right now to be submitted. I let my article submitter go about 4 months ago, and I decided to kind of take a few months off, and just haven't made the email yet to put him back on. One of those things. So article marketing works, folks, but it won't work an article here and an article there. You got to get in there and write for a couple hours a day. Okay, so let's do this. I said I was going to log off, but you know what? Let's just talk about some other traffic sources. I think we've been on for just under 30 minutes. Let's take 5 more minutes. I think it's worth your time. Let's talk about some other things. So with article marketing, I've shown you how to do in the videos. So what else can you do? You can do guest blogging. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to do that over the course of the next few days. Okay? You can do forum marketing. You can do YouTube marketing. You can do video marketing. We'll talk about those. And then the next thing that you can do is you can buy traffic. And there's a few different ways you can buy traffic. One of them is you can buy traffic on other people's email lists. Okay? I'm going to teach you how to do that. And that's probably one of the most powerful ways to drive traffic outside of content is to rent, not necessarily rent emails. You're not going to rent email lists, but to pay somebody to send an email out on your behalf to their list. Okay, and there's a right way to do it and a wrong way. If you do it the wrong way, you just lose a lot of money. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Okay, and then you've got all the paid sources. I mean, obviously, email marketing is going to be paid when you pay somebody to run it, but like just paying pay per click or cost per action or something like that. And that's where you go to Google or Yahoo or Bing or somewhere and you say, hey, I want to do keyword targeting and I want to get traffic. Okay. Let me say this. If that's the kind of traffic you want to drive, go see Perry Marshall. Okay. He's got incredible AdWords training. He has incredible Facebook training. He teaches you how to do it behind the scenes. Okay. He's the expert at that. Okay. I'm not an expert at driving pay-per-click traffic. I've driven a lot of it in the past. I usually barely break even on it. Okay, and my opinion is I'd just rather pour more money into content rather than try to fix that. It's just me. It's just me. But if you don't want to do content, then content's not an option for you. You're going to have to figure it out. Go see Perry Marshall. Join his coaching program and learn how to do it. Okay. Then you've got Facebook marketing. Okay, and Facebook marketing, from what I understand, it's easy to be highly targeted. And there's a few other sources. There's Twitter marketing. I don't like Twitter personally, so I just don't use it. Okay, but if you like Twitter and you want to do Twitter marketing, go buy 5 books. Go to Amazon, type in Twitter, and buy the 5 best-selling books about Twitter marketing. Buy them all, read them all, and then sit down with a sheet of paper and create a strategy and become a master at Twitter marketing. My guess is nobody will succeed with Twitter marketing. Oh, by the way, oh man, I don't want to butcher his last name because I don't have it in front of me. Gary Vaynerchuk. Okay. Book called Crush It. Book called Thank You Marketing. Thank You Marketing. Buy that book and read it. Study it. Read behind the scenes. Read between the lines and learn what his company is doing with Twitter. Okay? Become an expert at doing what his company does with Twitter. Okay? It's called Thank You Marketing by Gary Vaynerchuk. Okay. LinkedIn marketing. Same thing. Go buy the 5 top books on the market about LinkedIn marketing. Read them all and create a plan. And plan to spend 90 days doing nothing but LinkedIn marketing. Become an expert. If you're going to do Twitter marketing, plan on spending the next 90 days doing Twitter marketing. Don't go buy a $3,000 traffic course. If you're going to invest $3,000, buy a coaching program from somebody. Like a real all-over coaching program. Go buy Tony Robbins' self-confidence coaching program. You'll get more value for your internet marketing out of Tony Robbins' $5,000 course than you will out of any $5,000 traffic course on the market. Okay? Trust me. You have to go through the trenches. And nobody can hand it to you on a silver platter. I don't believe that. I could be way wrong. Okay? I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaching, and almost all of it has been on sales and copywriting and psychology. Okay? Traffic, I believe you got to get in the trenches and just do it. You got to become an expert. Okay, so there's another way. It's just hire an expert. Okay, so let's say that you say, you know what? I don't have the time. I have the budget. I have the money. I'm willing to invest 20 grand in my business in traffic. Great. Go hire an expert in the traffic that you want to generate. Hire a bona fide expert, somebody who's generating the traffic now for somebody else, and put them on retainer, 3 grand a month. They have 7 months to figure it out, and they'll start making you money the first month. Okay, that's one way you can do it without becoming an expert. Hire somebody else to do it for you. Okay, now, unlike article marketing that you can get $4, $5, $6 articles, you can have them outsourced to countries where people are willing to work for $5 an article. Okay, you're probably not going to be able to do that by outsourcing your traffic. You're going to have to hire somebody that's good, and you're going to have to pay them good prices. So those are the various ways you can do. There's no easy solution, folks. Traffic, you either pay for it in your time or your money. Traffic, you either pay for it in your time or your money. And no matter how well your back end's built out, if you don't master traffic, you'll never get there. All right, folks, let's go ahead and end. I want you to do some serious heart searching tonight. I want you to think about what I just shared with you. Come back and listen to this again. I want you to think about it, because everything I've shared you so far in this program, I've made it so super simple, because it is. And you know, in a lot of ways, traffic's super simple for me. Sit down for an hour and a half, write 7 and 10 articles, post them to Easy in Articles, bam, there you go. Okay? Go over to safeswaps.com and buy some mailings. Hit up some people on my list. Hit up some people that are mailing me every day and ask them, hey, can I mail your list? What do you charge me? Okay? Those are the kinds of things that I do to drive traffic. And for me, it's super simple. But I've been doing it for 5 years. It's not going to be super simple for you the first 30 days. In fact, what I've shown you in the last 3 videos may not be super simple for you. It looks at when I do it, but the first time you do it, it's tough. But you do it 50 times and it'll get easier. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and wrap up. Have a great night. I hope you sleep tonight, because I know this, when you get to the tough stuff, you get away from the easy stuff, we get to the tough stuff, you start getting restless in your sleep. Okay? But if you're going to be successful, you got to go through the tough stuff. You just have to. It's the way that it is. Okay? All right, folks. We'll see you next time.